Wildgate sucks. There are no pickles. The developer lied to me about pickles. Give me the pickles. Hashtag pickle Wildgate. Pickle, pickle. Whew. If you wonder where I've been for a couple days, I've been playing Wildgate constantly. Seriously. I cannot put this game down. And if I had to describe it really quickly, it's... Imagine you're at a fancy restaurant and you order a really big-ass omelet. And in that omelet is a bunch of really delicious shit. But there's occasionally an eggshell in the omelet because the chef is drunk or something. You're still going to enjoy the omelet, but then you get to the center of the omelet, and for some fucking reason, there is an entire egg. Just a whole-ass raw egg in the center of the omelet that you bite into, and it ruins your entire meal. Because that's Wildgate. A really good omelet, but that one egg just ruins everything. And I'll explain what the hell I mean by that in a second. But basically, Wildgate is, well, it's had like a billion, genres on it. It's a roguelite, it's an FPS, which is true. It's an extraction shooter, probably. It's multiplayer, it's competitive, it's casual, it's blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to explain what the hell the core gameplay loop is. You decide what genre this pile of crap fits into. Basically, you go in, you're on a ship against 4 other ships in a map that's very open. There's an artifact somewhere in there that you have to grab and take to the Wildgate to win. Whichever team gets to the Wildgate with the artifact on board wins the game. Or you can just eliminate every other ship and win by default, but in all of the matches I've seen, it's a complete toss-up over which team actually ends up winning and how they win. Because combat is a hectic experience that I really like. But what you're seeing right now is the basic POI gameplay. Basically, you go in, you clear a bunch of basic objectives, usually dealing with a bunch of AI enemies that are mostly just cannon fodder to deal with. You grab your stuff to teleport back, and you install it on your ship. These are how you get upgrades like better ship guns, hardpoints that do unique things like better shields, or a couple other really unique items. Like, for example, you can get a sniper rifle that just straight up pierces the heavens. Really cool shit. Turbines that let you fly around easily, and resources for your ship. And, yeah, that's just kind of the basic gameplay loop. You go in, you get stuff. Eventually someone finds the artifact, and the ships have to fight each other. Except, there's a couple eggshells here already. Obviously, there's the problem that every single ship is going to have to deal with RNG loot tables, which, if that's fine with you, then great, congrats, that you could just keep going with it. But the issue is, the RNG loot can range from, here's just straight up a laser ram, which just auto-wins you a fight if you manage to ram into them, or a bunch of crap cannons and crap hardpoints that do next to nothing. Like, I've seen loot pools that include 2 entire probe sensors, which just make your scanning probes slightly better, which give no combat utility whatsoever. I've also seen like 3 bomb traps, which is not that useful considering how hard it is to get a boarding off and actually have one of these detonate on the enemy ship. Seriously. It's a mix between really good loot sometimes and really crap loot sometimes. The other resource you need to gather, as you can see right in front of you, are ice asteroids and fuel asteroids. See, at the helm, you have the choice of boosting your ship, which consumes 1 fuel. You get more by mining these asteroids. And mining these asteroids is an easy enough thing. You just teleport back to the ship while holding things, which, thank God for that. Holy crap, the teleport back to the ship feature is probably the greatest thing they've included in the whole damn game. But, yeah, there's a but here. Sometimes RNG, again, just screws you. Like, here we get a crap ton of ice, which is used to heal your ship's main health bar, which, if your ship's health bar goes to 0, you die. I don't think I need to explain that. Basic shit. But sometimes you can just spawn in a part of the map with absolutely no ice, and it's happened a couple times to me when I was busy dealing with my crashing issues. Which, for reference, those crashing issues were on my end, but I do think it speaks a lot of volumes that my first 2 days with Wildgate were met with crash after crash after crash, and like 2 hours of technical belly aching to try and figure it out, I did figure it out. It was on my end. Again, not the game's fault. But the login issues and the disconnect issues are also a bit of a souring experience. Seriously. I think it speaks volumes that despite all of the problems I've had when playing Wildgate, I still recommend it very much so. But let's get back to what the core gameplay loop's problems are. See, in addition to the RNG, we also have the problem of the characters. And the characters are yet another eggshell because, hold on, let me bring them up and explain each of them in really quick detail. And I'll let you decide which characters are basically guaranteed to win with. Because, there's two in particular that are kind of a requirement or you're just screwing yourself over. This isn't like a full meta tier list, but this is how I felt during the entirety of the beta. See, the problem is Sai, the character you're seeing there, has an ability that lets her repair multiple things at once, which is, you know, helpful. But the real must-have part of her kit is the fact that she's the only character who can recycle objects. Like, she could take a completely useless item, like, say, a fifth turbine, and recycle it into something actually useful. This makes her objectively a must-have, because no other character can do that. Yeah, she gets free resources out of the crap that you normally would just throw away. Kinda strong. This frail-looking guy is Samo. And while his ability to heal from full health every time he kills someone on your ship is, again, useful, the real problem comes with the fact that he's the only character able to see enemy orders through walls. This means that he counters 4 other characters by existing, especially Ion. And that kind of utility is something that can't just be glossed over or ignored. It's just simply too good. Automatically being able to see borders allows you to completely avoid having most of your crap stolen, as well as the artifact if you have it on board. Simply outclasses every other character with the usefulness of that one ability. This is Adrian. He's here because he just gets resources better than every other character. Because he can fly faster than everyone else. And then fly faster with everyone else more with a jetpack. That's better than the shitty little default one that we all have. Yeah, no, he's here entirely because fuel and ice are that important, and a character able to get that without having to do any work is that good. Plus, he's really good at transporting the artifact. He's, for some reason, classified as a boarder, even though he's not, and I barely ever use him to actually board, but I guess he can get to other ships faster? Sure. Here's Ion. Here's who I play. And he's actually a boarder. Basically, Ion has 2 unique abilities. One is that he reloads his guns faster than everyone else if you just put them in his back pocket for 2 seconds, which, yeah, for certain guns like the RPG, and speaking of guns, I'll talk about guns in a bit because they're problematic. But his main ability is the fact that he's able to just beat the crap out of ship systems and damage them with his melee attacks. So he basically flies up to an enemy ship and then proceeds to beat the ever-loving crap out of the engines, turrets, doors, walls, whatever, and being a little bastard nuisance that allows you to just completely swing the tide of fights if they don't catch you quick enough. He's actually a boarder because he actually has useful items that he could use to board. Because, again, it doesn't matter how hard you board. What does matter is the fact that you can completely destroy an entire ship in 2 seconds by beating the crap out of it, which is awesome. He's not a requirement, though, because you don't have to board to win. The second of the 3 actual boarders, Adrian doesn't count, is Kay. She's a simple character whose movement ability is replaced with a teleport that allows her to obviously teleport onto enemy ships, skipping the whole process where you have to fly to the ship or get to it somehow, which they're going to be shooting at you a lot. Allows her to pull off some sneaky plays. Her other ability is to interact with things from a distance. This allows her to steal crap easily, deal with the artifact better, do it for other people, similar things. Basically, if you can think of something you can interact with in the game, she can do that, but from a distance. Pretty useful character to have on board, Although she's not exactly defining anything or doing anything too stupidly good. She's generally useful, though. This little bastard is, hold on. Gotta just, okay. This little bastard is called Moths, because he's a moth. Obviously. He has a thing where he flies slightly faster, like Adrian, but his thing is actually just going into stealth. The stealth breaks whenever he interacts with, like, basically anything, so while he can get on board your ship and shoot you cheekily, I find him completely useless. I've never seen a single person actually manage to use this guy's stealth ability to do anything useful at all. And I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think I ever will see anyone do anything useful with him. His stealth ability is just not good. It breaks too easily. It doesn't last long enough. Well, it does give a movement increase. That doesn't subtract enough from the massive downside of having only 80 health, the lowest of any character in the entire game. Like, he's just not good. And I don't want to buff though, because stealth mechanics are friggin' annoying. This is Venture. Venture is completely useless. And I do mean that. Like, this isn't like a Moth situation where it's like he has a useful thing that's not that useful because it got nerfed or whatever. No, this guy just sucks. His 3 powers are not requiring oxygen, which, for reference, you see that blue bar around my character icon at the bottom left? That's your oxygen meter. That reaches 0, you start taking damage and die. You'll respawn because, like, obviously it's not permanent, but you'll take damage over time and blah blah blah, yada yada. The problem is, though, oxygen is, like, never an issue. Like, you have 2 minutes of oxygen before you run out, and even on your ship, when you're, like, you have a specific attempt to try and flood it with no oxygen, you still don't run out of oxygen. It's not useful with POIs either, because there's vents everywhere, so there's just no point. Yeah, his other thing is he heals faster, which, for reference, if you're out of combat for a bit, you heal back up to full, which is occasionally useful, but his third mechanic is it'll tell you if someone's behind you. This guy's designed as a noob character, you know, if you don't have the game sense or awareness of sounds to hear people behind you, you can use him, it'll tell you, blah blah blah. It's just, there's every other character's better, I'm sorry. He's a noob character, and he's probably going to remain bad. I'm not saying that's a problem, I'm just saying the reality of the situation is that he's the worst character of the game. It's just the way it is. Now, I need to talk about the ships and the equipment metas and, like, you know, how each of them work and what I think of each of them, but I'll be real, I haven't had the chance to use all of the ships and all of the equipments, and unlike some content creators, I'm not going to tell you what my experience is doing anything on any particular thing, unless I've actively had experience using it.
Something's here.
However, the gun meta, I can talk about. And here's my tier list for what the meta is revolving the personal handheld weapons. Yeah, you can see a problem here, huh? See, every gun fails in comparison to the aim-E, where the sniper rifle can one-shot half the cast, well, with the exception of Sal, because Sal doesn't have a headshot hitbox for some reason. Weird design choice, but eh. The other guns, the Doctor can heal, the RPG can do damage to the ships, the assault rifle's good at range, I don't have a use case for the pistol, I'm not gonna lie. It's just kind of okay. The problem is, I can't really form an opinion on any other gun besides the AIM-E, because there is no other gun besides the AIM-E. The AIM-E is an auto-aiming gun that deals 45 damage per, like, burst, which it shoots bursts often. It's got basically perfect accuracy as long as you aim at it from range. And it's, like, again, there's no reason to run anything else besides the AIM-E pistol. It's just too good. It destroys every fight. It's good at close quarters, it's good at long range, it's good at medium range, it's good with dealing with points of interest, it's good with dealing with, like, fucking enemies, it's good with borders, good dealing with, well, you're fucking boarding someone else, it's good in just random mid-fight skirmishes that happen over nothing, it's good with securing the artifact, it's just, there's no reason to run anything other than the AME. And this kind of destroys half of the boarding and counter-boarding combat sequences because everything is the AME pistol. You can't do sneaky plays where you know, duck behind a fucking piece of cover on the enemy's ships and then, you know, jump back in really quickly to dodge them and, you know, because the AME just auto-aims. You can't deal with the, you know, powerful weapons. You can't deal with the sniper rifle. You can't outshine someone from range because the AME aims for them.
Probe station.
Yeah, there's no reason to run anything else. The AME and whatever secondary weapon you feel like using is the whole point. Yeah, they're just, why would you run anything else? Now you're probably thinking, damn, he fucking hates this game. No, I love this game. I'm just talking about the things I don't like because there's so much I do like that it just works. Like, the ship combat is perfect. With the exception of the laser ram dealing one shots half the time and being kind of annoying. It's just, yeah, like, the ship combat is really fun. It's a perfect blend of strategy. The time to kill on both boarders and ships feels really nice. It feels like there's a lot of strategy around how you play. It feels like you matter. Kills aren't the main focus, and you can steal from other ships. And it doesn't have the first strike problem that a lot of games have, where whichever team is trying to kill you automatically wins because they got the first strike. You can easily, with just a couple smart boardings, stealing a couple guns, or disabling their engines, their turrets, or just stopping them entirely by jacking their pilot seat and inputting a bunch of random crap onto it, you can easily just win on your own without much difficulty. All you have to do is just play smart. And even if you don't win the fight and both ships decide mutually that they don't want to take the fight, it's easy to get away. Third partying isn't that much of a problem due to the way the maps are designed. Like, you see all these rocks? You can fly around them and easily break line of sight, get away from your adversaries, and boarding is useful both as an offensive and defensive action. See, when boarding, you can go for the reactor, which will deal damage over time and eventually destroy the ship, or you can board their ship, overload the reactor, steal their turrets, fuck with their aiming, fuck with all of their shit, and generally just allow yourself to get the hell away much faster. Like, you see this guy camping? It doesn't matter that we're forced to go to him to get out with the goddamn artifact. If we play smart, we can beat him. Again, boarding is a defender-sided thing, both in ship combat and in actual player versus player boarding combat. See, when you're running away from a fight, that's when boarding is the most effective. Because if you get, for example, my character Ion, you can go onto their thrusters and beat the crap out of them to slow them down. Or hit the emergency brake on their helm to stop them dead in their tracks. Or drop shields, or whatever. Either way, because they are heading towards you, and that's how, you know, physics works, you can get onto their ship easier than they can get onto yours as long as you're boarding. Obviously, Teleporting Lady and Adrian can get on a fair bit easier, but still, the priority of boarding is disruption, or just straight up theft. There's like a tier thing. It's more useful to get on board someone's ship to steal some of their shit that they're killing you with than it is to get on their ship to deal damage to it. The reactor is, again, better as a distraction than it is as a lethal killing blow to whoever you're fighting. I suppose I should talk about the artifact itself, because the artifact is the main mechanic that I have a feeling they built the game around to solve the problem of what is the excuse for these ships to not just sit on their ass and camp and play the lamest strategies. The artifact is really, cool. And I really like what it does to the game. See, without it, we'd have the classic problem of what is disincentivizing a crew from just sitting on their ass and not playing the game. And the answer to that is, if you sit on your ass and don't go for the artifact, someone else will and get out with it. This turns the objective from just ship fighting to a much more interesting strategy, because yes, you could win by killing every other ship, but by the time it takes to do that, because the fights in this game are lengthy. Like, hell, you've seen it in this video, we have been fighting this one ship for like a solid 5 minutes, with a back and forth that's been pretty consistent. Hell, I'm pretty sure we've traded ship cores like at least 3 times in this entire process of us just boarding each other, stealing our crap, breaking shields, and everything. And it's great. It's peak. I'm having a blast. The fight times are not the problem. The problem is, well, sometimes there are situations where you have the artifact for the entirety of the game, right? You play the shit out of it, you destroy everyone, you fight your way to the Wildgate, and then some ship that has been camping there the entire time, waiting for you to show up, steals the artifact, and instantly wins because they got on their ship and they're touching the Wildgate. Yeah, camping is an unfortunate strategy. But I do have a solution for you developers, and if you're happy to be watching. I think a problem with the Wildgate is that once it's open and the artifact has been discovered and is in play and moving, there's no real incentive to be the one that grabs it, because yes, having the artifact on you does give you a massive health boost in general, and yes, having the artifact on board will make you the #1 target. Why would you do that and create fun when you could just get free wins by sitting on the Wildgate and just boarding whoever shows up with the artifact? Bit of a lame strategy. So why don't we make the Wildgate have a proximity alarm? Basically, if you're within the Wildgate, it'll start overloading your reactor intermittently. Not a constant, like, it's got to be constantly overloading, but intermittently, the Wildgate pulses, causing every ship around it to have an overloaded reactor and random crap to break on it. This would eventually, without certain upgrades like the ship core, legendary ship core that heals your ship over time, force players to interact with each other and work with each other to be able to actually go and start fights and take the artifact. Again, it wouldn't completely eliminate camping, which I do think, despite it being a little, you know, ugh, and boring, camping does have to exist. It's a tactical play. Because why would you directly go for the gate when you could instead just wait and steal it back the second it happens? Hell, the trailer had a moment involving the friggin' artifact getting stolen, like, right at the last second. But I do think it's a little too prevalent. Like, look at these guys. This prospector ship, they sat for the entire fight that we were doing behind that rock waiting for us. And just sitting there. You might call it, you know, a tactics issue, a skill issue, what have you. The problem is that that's not fun for them. I don't think they're having fun not interacting with most of the game systems and just sitting on their pituitary glands, waiting for something to happen. Waiting for us to show up. And I think discouraging this kind of playstyle should be in the developer's best interests. And for that matter, I do think having the Wildgate be a dangerous thing to be near would also make sense in lore. Like, what is the Wildgate? It's obviously a portal out, but I think having it be like an unstable, barely understood wormhole would be pretty cool. And I think the damage should also ramp up over time as you're in the Wildgate. Just a suggestion to fix the one little annoying problem that I have. And with that, that's pretty much it. Yeah, no. I will probably be streaming this after this video is done uploading and, you know, comes out. Probably at like 3 if I'm uploading this 2:30 and, you know, time works properly and I don't forget. But yeah, Wildgate is a game I've been having a blast with, and I'd like to thank my channel members for, you know, being channel members, because I have to do that because they pay for it. Oh, not to mention more, a fresh face to the list of channel members. Thank you for joining. User Face This, Loltar, Flabbergastor, Somebody Cat, North Star, Plantic 23, West World Film, CBO, Rob, City, Lepin. You two can join the show down below, and if you join the show down below, you get to join me in Wildgate, probably. I don't know. Yeah, that's the video. Bye.